Hello children, welcome to today's class. Children, today we are going to start up with our first lesson in social great personalities. In this lesson, we are going to start up with part 1 of the lesson children. Before starting up with the lesson, children, let me clarify a thing that is the topic of the lesson. Can you see the topic? Great personalities, isn't it? Can you able to understand what is mean by personality? Have you ever heard about the word personality? According to you or according to me, many of us misunderstood that personality relates to a particular thing of physical appearance. What is mean by physical appearance? For example, if I am going to see a person as a new one or as a stranger from a distance, I will be liking that person for small things like for his walk or for her smile or for way of dressing or for way of stylishness. These things we call it as a physical appearance. For example, if I am seeing a girl who is very beautifully dressed up, who is very beautifully smiling, who seems to be very stylish, but when I started to talk with her, I can able to find something. She will be very awkward and she will be very anger and she won't be mingling with other people. These are all negative things, isn't it? So we should never judge a person by seeing their physical appearance, whether he is white in color or whether he is black in color, whether he is tall or whether he is short, whether he is dressed up in a good way or whether he is not dressed up in good way. These are not comes under the personality. The real personality deals up with many things. For example, if a person is being very polite with you, then that politeness is a good personality. If a person is very humanity, if a person is very love and affectionate towards other things and even to pets, those things we call it as a personality. And third thing, if you are a student, if you are very obedient, if you are very disciplined to your elders and in and around to your friends, then that is your good personality, isn't it? Can you understand the word personality now, children? Yes. You should never ever judge a person by their physical appearance. You should always like a person by seeing their inner personalities, isn't it? Let me tell you a short thing. According to in my family, I used to like a person. That is my cousin sister. She is my very own age. I used to like her for many things. For example, she will be always very polite to each and everyone. Even if I am fighting with her, she won't be fight with me. She will always used to be in a friendly way. And the next thing is, whenever I am having more works, she will be helping with me in all my works. And whenever we have a work of going to a function or whenever we plan to go for a shopping or for a picnic, I will be always late and she will be on time. So after some age, I thought to realize I want to follow up many things from her. For example, her her polite way of approach, her love and affection, her way of punctuality, many things I started to follow up. So like this, you are also will definitely have a person in your family in which you can able to follow. Have you heard from your friends? If I'm asking a particular child, someone will be telling, I want to be become like my father because he is to me very friendly way. I want to be become like my mother because my mother will be always smiling and she will be very friendly with me, isn't it? So each and everyone will be liking a person from your family, and these person we call it as a personality, or otherwise these people we will be seeing them as our role model. That is, we are going to follow their footsteps and we are going to develop ourselves. So children, in this way we are going to start up with the content. That is, we are going to see only two personalities. One is Gautama Buddha and the other is Rajaram Mohan Roy. Again I repeat, we are going to see only two personalities in this part 1. One is Gautama Buddha and the second is Rajaram Mohan Roy. I think you would have all heard about Gautam Buddha, isn't it? Yes, we are going to see about him in this detail. Gautama Buddha, his original name is Siddhartha. Buddha was given as a name to him after a very long period, after many achievements. So his real name is Siddhartha, and generally he was called as Prince Siddhartha. And his parents was Suddhodana and Maya Devi. So Gautama Buddha's father is Suddhodana and mother is Maya Devi. And Buddha's wife name is Yashodhara, and he has a son named Rahula. This is the family bio of Gautama Buddha. So let us start with Buddha's childhood. Buddha was born as Prince Siddhartha in a royal family at Kapilvastu, Lumbini, that lies on the border of Nepal. So Buddha, I already told you, Buddha's childhood name is Prince Siddhartha, isn't it? Why he was called as Prince? In the sense, because he was born in a very rich family, that too especially in a king's family. So he was automatically named as Prince Siddhartha. And his born place was Kapilvastu, Lumbini. It lies in the border of Nepal. It lies in the border of Nepal. So generally we know the fact as Prince Siddhartha was born in Nepal. Second thing, at the young age, Buddha decided to give up his luxuries to live a peaceful life. I will tell you a small thing why Buddha decided to give his palace and why he wanted to go to a different place to attain as a name of Buddha. Whenever Buddha have the habit of going out of his palace for a walk, or whenever he used to go for a visit to a people, he used to observe many things, because it is the duty of the king to observe the people, and as a king he has the responsibility to analyze what are all the suffering of a people, isn't it? So in that way Buddha also have the habit of visiting the people then and there. While going up for a visiting of people, he started to observe many things. At one time he started to see a age-old person. It is a usual thing, isn't it? We can't be young at all the time. You can't be a child at all the time. At some other year you want to become a age-old person, isn't it? So he started to realize one thing: age is not a permanent factor. We can't be young at all the time. So at some time or the other you have to attain the age-old person. So age is not a factor. This is the first thing. Second thing, whenever he started to come across a poor person in the sense, now also we can able to see some few people who is suffering for money and who sometimes suffering for even for one time of their eating, isn't it? For their food and shelter, isn't it? While come across those people, he can able to understand money is not a important factor for life, because you can able to gain more money in your life, sometimes you can able to lose the money. So money is not a important factor for a person in his life. And the third thing he started to realize is peacefulness. That is, if you are going to continuously rely upon money, and if you are going to continuously rely upon your outside beauty, you can't able to live a peaceful life. For example, some people will be liking music, some people wants to help to others, some people wants to be with their in and around people with love and affection. If you are going to live such a life, you will be feeling very, very happy, isn't it? Whenever you are going to live with your mother or father or with your brother or sister, you will be feeling a special thing of happiness. That is the real happiness. Some people will be having the attitude of continuously earning money or continuously aching for many royal rich things that are not the real factors of the life. So for these things, Buddha started to do one particular thing. He started to decide, he decided to live his palace. he decided to live his kingdomship. He decided to live his king position, and he started to live as a normal human being. For this, he decided to leave his palace and he started to went up to a new place. So as that a kind of place is Bodh Gaya. After leaving his palace, Buddha started to enter Bodh Gaya, and in Bodh Gaya he sat under a particular tree called Peepal tree. Under the Peepal tree he started his meditation. We all would have know the meaning of meditation in general, isn't it? According to us, what is meant by meditation? Meditation means you should always sit in a very calm place and you should close your eyes. You should focus to a particular thing and you should relax your mind so that you will be getting a positive vibration. Our parents would have told this, isn't it? Yes. So meditation is a very very good habit for our mental and physical health. So Buddha started to meditate for a very long year, for a very long month and years under the Peepal tree at Bodh Gaya in Bihar. So after this meditation, he started to understand his mind and he can able to analyze himself as a personality. First of all, understanding ourselves is a great thing. We can easily able to understand the next person, isn't it? Somehow or other you can able to understand about your friend. If I'm going to ask about your friend, you can able to tell what is your friend is, how your friend is, isn't it? But the real great task is we should understand ourselves. Whenever we are questioning ourselves, we can able to tell I am this kind of person, I am having these many good things. So that is we call it as a self evaluation. So after meditating for a very long time, Buddha attained enlightened way. Enlightened position in the sense he got a wonderful knowledge of understanding what is the main essential part of a human life. So after meditation, Buddha got the name as Gautama Buddha. So Prince Siddhartha was completely transformed as Gautama Buddha after meditating under Peepal tree. And after getting this knowledge, he started to find a new religion, Buddhism. We would have heard about this religion, isn't it? But we doesn't have any truth about, we don't have any particular view what is meant by Buddhism, what are all the things had been said in Buddhism, isn't it? So generally Buddhism is being followed by many sector people and in many countries like India, Nepal, Bangladesh, people in Sri Lanka and in Southeast Asian countries. Many people started to follow the particular religion Buddhism. So now we are going to see in detail what are all the important and essential things has been told in this religion Buddhism by Buddha. So we are going to see a few things under the topic of teachings of Buddhism. The first thing is Buddha preached noble truths of life. That means Buddha taught what are all the essential things which a person wants to have in his life, that we call it as a noble truth. Noble truth in the sense permanent thing. He got clarified to the people what is the permanent thing in life and what are all the things we should not do in life. And second thing is the world is full of happiness. Yes children, the world in and around you is the heaven. We don't have a separate heaven and all, isn't it? We can't able to live a life after our soul is getting over. So whenever you are living, wherever you are living, that particular place is a very very happiness. So the world is full of happiness, but we transform the world as a unhappiness place. How? Yes, because we started to long for many things. For example, if I am having a two-wheeler, I should be happy with the two-wheeler. Whenever I am seeing a car, I should not long for that. I should get more money. I should get more cars for my own purpose. I should have more jewelry. I should be like this person. I should be like that person. So these kind of jealous activities should be controlled in the human mind. So this will be transforming the complete happy world as an unhappy place. Because of these things only, people continuously we blame, I am not happy, this person is reason for my unhappiness, this person made me sad. So these are all not the main things, only we are responsible for our own happiness. And the third is, the cause of unhappiness is our wants. Yes, we should be very clarify, we should be very clear what is necessary and what is not necessary to our life. We very well know what are all the things is very necessary to us and what are all not necessary to our life, isn't it? So we should not be longing for all the things. And the fourth one is, unhappiness can turn into happiness if we stop wanting things. We should be happy with what we have, isn't it? We can change anything in the world, children. Whichever is being very unhappiness, it is your responsibility to change into happiness, because we are the person who have the capability to judge which is being happy, which is not being happy. If we are trying to make all the unhappy things into happy things, we can able to do it. So it is in our hand to change our life. And the last thing is, we can put an end to our unhappiness. Yes, we are the people who have the power to stop our sadness and loneliness in our life. So he is giving some guidance to stop this unhappiness, that is eightfold path. So Buddha gave the eightfold path to stop our unhappiness in the life. So this is the eightfold path of Buddha, children. You can note down these eightfold paths. So I will explain what are all the eightfold paths. First thing is right view. Right view in the sense, whatever you are seeing in your life, just believe that is the right thing. So don't have any negative thoughts, that we call it as a right view. Second thing is right intention. You should always think positive about other people also. He can also able to do, he can be very friendly with me, he will be a very good person, I can able to do a good thing. So right intentions, our right thinking and right thoughts, we call it as a right intention. And the third is right speech. Whenever you are speaking with others, kindly be polite with them and always speak only good and positive words. That is called as a right speech. Next is right action. Right action in the sense, you should not do any bad things in your life. We will already know which is good and which is bad, isn't it? So we should never ever do any bad activities. We should not be go in a very wrong path. We should always be in our right path. And next is right livelihood. That is in the sense, if you are doing this right view, right intention, right speech, right action, what will have? You will be already in a very right and good life, isn't it? So always being and living a good life, we call it as a right livelihood. We should earn our money, we should earn our name, everything in a good aspect. And the sixth one is right effort. Right effort in the sense, we should always take up our intention and we should always work towards our own target, and that should be in a very good way. We should not take any wrong way to achieve our target or goal, that we call it as a right effort. And the seventh one is a right concentration. This is very important. Even a very small work or a very big task needs a concentration, isn't it? So you should be concentrating over the work which you will be doing. And the last one is right mindfulness. This is the last step. If you are doing all the 7 steps properly, automatically your mind will be in the right path. Your mind will be fully filled up with positive attitudes. Is it so? So that is we call it as a right mindfulness. Again I tell you all the 8-fold paths, children. Right view, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right concentration, and right mindfulness. So next we are going to see a small tryout of the following. Gautama Buddha founded the religion called dash. Kindly take a notebook and try to give the answers, children. You want to write the religion name which is being founded by Gautama Buddha. Second one is Buddha was born as Prince Dash. Buddha was born as Prince Dash. You have to write the childhood name of Buddha. For third one, Buddha meditated under a peepal tree at dash. Buddha meditated under a peepal tree at dash. You have to write the place name in which Buddha started to meditate. Children, I hope you would have written the answers, isn't it? So, shall we check with the answer, children? Gautama Buddha founded the religion called Buddhism. Second one is Buddha was born as Prince Siddhartha. Third one, Buddha meditated under a peepal tree at Bodh Gaya. So these are all the three answers which we got. I think you also got the same answer, children. Shall we move on to the next slide? Yes, the next personality we are going to see is Rajaram Mohan Roy. In this also we are going to see and start with the parents of Rajaram Mohan Roy. Rajaram Mohan Roy's father name is Ram Kanto Rai and mother is Tarini Devi. So Rajaram parents are Ram Kanto Rai and Tarini Devi. Rajaram's wife name is Devi Uma and his children are Radha Prasad and Rama Prasad. So this is what the shorter bio of Rajaram Mohan Roy. So the picture you see in this slide is Rajaram Mohan Roy, children. Rajaram Mohan Roy was born in the state of West Bengal. Bengal we all would have heard, isn't it? So he was born in India, West Bengal. He was a social and religious reformer. Reformer means a person who brings a great change to his surrounding and to the society. Only those people is called as a reformer. So Rajaram Mohan Roy was stated as a social and religious reformer. That is, he brought many changes in the society and he has also brought many changes in the religious aspect. And the third thing is, since childhood he was keen on learning new languages. He could speak Bengali, English, Latin, Persian, Hebrew, Sanskrit, Arabic and French. So children, among us also many of us would have known nearly 2 to 3 languages, isn't it? But this person from this childhood he loved to learn many new languages. So he started to speak nearly 7 to 8 languages in a good way. And then he promoted unity and love for all. That is, he started to preach people, he started to teach people that always everyone should be in a very, very unite manner and everyone should love each other. And the next thing is, Rajaram Mohan Roy established an organization. What is meant by organization? It's like a place or it is like a team which can able to do some good things. So he started to organize a team called Brahmo Samaj. Under this organization he done many good things. He started to promote women's rights. Women's rights in the sense, in the olden days girls are not allowed to go to schools and all, but nowadays we people are going to school, isn't it? So he started to promote education. He started to help for the girls child to learn more in their schooling time and he started to earn more education and more proud towards the girl child. And the next thing is, he encouraged education and learning of English. Why English? In the sense, not only learning Vedanta education or not only learning only Vedic education will lead a knowledge. So he started to help children to learn English language. For exclusive learning of English, he started to establish two colleges. One is Hindu College and other one is Vedanta College in Kolkata. So what are all the two colleges that established by Rajaram Mohan Roy? One is Hindu College and other one is Vedanta College, that is located in Kolkata. And the last thing is, he also published newspapers. Yes, he started to publish many newspapers, and for that particular thing he was called as father of Indian journalism. Because of his publishing of newspaper, he got this name, children. So Rajaram Mohan Roy, in general, he was called as father of Indian journalism. So children, can you able to understand about Rajaram Mohan Roy? Rajaram Mohan Roy was born in state of West Bengal. He was called as a social and religious reformer. He could able to speak nearly 8 languages. He promoted unity and love. He promoted women's right. He encouraged English language learning. He established 2 colleges, and finally we saw that he was fondly called as father of Indian journalism. I think children, you would have been clearly understood about Rajaram Mohan Roy. So in this we are going to try out a few questions. First one is, who was Rajaram Mohan Roy? For this you have to give the answer. Who was Rajaram Mohan Roy as we known? It has been already seen in that slide. You have to pick up the answer. For second question, you want to write the name of the organization. What was the name of the organization founded by Rajaram Mohan Roy? Already we have seen only one organization, so you have to give the name of the organization. Children, I hope you would have written the answer. So the answers for the questions are, Rajaram Mohan Roy was a social and religious reformer. Again I tell the answer. Rajaram Mohan Roy was a social and religious reformer. Second is, Rajaram Mohan Roy established the organization Brahmo Samaj. Rajaram Mohan Roy established the organization Brahmo Samaj. So children, up to this we have seen 2 great personalities, Gautama Buddha and Rajaram Mohan Roy, isn't it? So we will be continuing the remaining lessons in part 2, children. Until that, be remembered and start admiring many people with their individual and their own inner personalities. Okay, let me meet up in the second part, children. Thank you.